This video brought to you in part by these fantastic Patreons. Patreons are the lifeblood and the backbone of this channel and help with cool things like the giveaway in the description. But let's get into the video. Hey guys, what is up and welcome to the channel. I am the Shotgun Shogun and this is the TSS podcast episode 6. That's right, we're going to stick with TSS podcast, and yeah, I am joined by Kei Kollections this time around, getting all of the big named FGO YouTubers. Kei, you just recently hit 10K, right? How long ago what was that? Like last week you hit 10K?
Yeah, I think about maybe a week and a half. I actually don't remember, but it's an amazing feeling. Wow.
yeah, hitting those 5 digits. But for those of you guys who don't know who Kei Kollections is for some reason, Kei is the most wholesome FGO content creator out there. This guy has a voice that will sell you a broken Frosty machine, and he gets you excited about pretty much every servant ever. I actually don't think that I've watched a servant review where you're like, this servant sucks and I hate this servant. Don't roll on this servant. They're bad and I feel bad for even reviewing this. You always like have a flair about your servant reviews where you're just kind of like, you know what, even if I don't like it, if you like it and if it's your waifu, then get out there and roll. So, you know, definitely one of the best things like about you as a content creator. But for those of you, like I said, who may or may not know Kei Kollections, Kei Kollections was actually around when I started, and one of the content creators that I looked up to when I first started my channel. And I was telling Kei before the podcast that, you know, there was a time when he commented on one of my poll videos and I was just like, oh my god, I got senpai noticed me. So it was always weird to think that, you know, like now, like I'm big, you know, I have more subscribers, but I'm just like, man, it's so weird. Like, you know, you were there, and you know, I always enjoy your content and having you, especially enjoy your weather reports on this month in Chaldea. So
yes, it was oh man, don't remind me.
That last one, yeah, that last one was good. I literally thought that up while I was like sitting on like a cliff in Death Valley. I was just like, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, I need Kei Kollections to do the weather this time around. Like, I'm gonna have him do this. And I was just chuckling to myself as I thought about it. But so let's talk about how you got started as a content creator. Even just like going back to the original Kei Kollections. So you started as a figure unboxing channel, correct?
Yes, I did. Now I started like Funko Pops, action figures, some Fate figures. To tell the truth, when I started my channel, I wasn't really. I liked Fate, the whole series, but I was never really into it. So I more or less started it, you know, as just unboxing reviews to share my passion of collecting figures and action figures, statues, and stuff.
Yeah, and I actually, so I went back and I looked at a lot of your unboxing videos because...
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Oh no, trust me, I know there'll be people that will comment on like some of my really early roll videos or like some of my original servant reviews, and I'm just like, oh, oof, please don't look at that. Like, why did you watch that? Oh, my shame. But so like one of the things that I like to do is like if I don't know what to do, because like I've got a lot of figures to unbox. I have like I have like a mountain of Fate figures that are just like in my dining room that I need to unbox eventually. But so I was like, oh, Kei unboxes stuff, let me go look at his stuff, maybe get an idea of like how to set my things up, you know, stuff like that. So I did go back and I watched like a lot of your videos, and I personally like unboxing videos just because it's like, even if like, especially one of those, like if you're on the fence about a figure, it's good to watch somebody else open it, especially somebody. So I've noticed myself as I've like unboxed and recorded unboxings, like I have evolved like a finer taste for figures. Like I look for specific things now, like paint gradient and like hair, or like just the extra little sculpt detail on like, you know, a top or something like that. So, yeah, I like went back and I watched like a bunch of your stuff, and I went around. But what made you switch from figures into Fate Grand Order content creation?
So initially, of course, I knew about Fate. I liked the series, so I downloaded FGO, played it a bit, and thought to myself, "Hey, why not share some of my summons? Might as well. It doesn't hurt. It's not a waste of time or anything. It's not. It's like I'm not going out my way to do anything new. I'm just record my phone, just post it online, and then I guess that's how I started. And then more or less, I felt like doing some guides, maybe just try to grow a more niche audience within the Fates community. Because to be honest, when I first saw my, I guess you could say my subscribers, or when I did figure unboxing, it's a very saturated, um, I guess, YouTube content, right? There's a lot of people who collect figures, anime figures, and I wasn't really standing out. So I was thinking to myself, what can I do that could really gain an audience at first? And so, I like FGL, never thought I'll reach to the point where I am today. With FGO content creation, I do still unbox Fate figures. More so, it's concentrated within this series, but that's initially how I jumped because I wanted to grow my channel in a different way.
Okay, yeah, no, I know that that's like a big thing, for a lot of content creators too, is they'll start off with roles and then they don't really know how to move forward, or really where to go from there. So it's a lot of like, trying this and that. So it's like I'm glad that like things, where you're at is awesome. And the other thing too is a lot of times people will get kind of put off, a little deterred, because they'll say, oh well, this person's already doing something similar. But I feel like each one of us, even though maybe we do things similar, like we each bring that extra little bit of flair. Like I said at the beginning, like you just have that personality, like that attitude, that like when you're telling me about things, like I'm just like, oh man, I'm super invested in this now. Like, please, Kay,
Thank you, thank you.
tell me about which SR servants I should be summoning for this year. So that's really cool. And it's also really awesome. One of the things that I liked, that I mean I would like to see you do more of, is reviews of like upcoming figures. um I think that what would be really cool is getting your opinion on maybe a roundup of the Wonderfest figures, because I'm sure that whenever Wonderfest comes around, you are as actively looking at them as I am, because I mean, hell, we have a whole Discord channel dedicated to what figures are coming out during Wonderfest. And I know that you did at least a video on that at one point. I think you did a video at one point too about like budget Fate figures too, right?
Yes, I did because, like I said, at that time I want to kind of go back to, I guess, the figure aspect or unboxing aspect of my channel. FGO of course is great, but sometimes when you do, I guess servant reviews or just talk about the same kind of, I guess, content so many times, you want to diversify. I'm sure you'll relate. Are making videos for a different game, trying different things. So during that time, I was, I guess, in that phase, and still am. So I did a budget video trying to get more people into this expensive ass hobby. I mean, it's expensive, but try, that, try to get more crowd, a community for collecting Fate figures. So I thought, hey, why not make a video to help people get started? I'm sure there are people like me in the beginning where before I even collected, I was thinking, oh, these figures look nice, but at $200 figure, that's like
Oh
almost a
yeah.
console right there.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, like I know, because I mean, like I said, I pretty much get like most of the figures. And yeah, it's such a wide range of prices on there, because you do have your prize figures, your Ichiban Kuji figures that are more reasonable, all the way up to like some of those Jalter figures that are
Oh,
are
don't remind me that
way
one.
up there. Yeah, no, because I have the one that you unboxed. And then there's the other one that's coming out like kind of soon-ish. That was also ridiculously expensive. There's like the quarter scale saber that's eventually coming out, and like once you get into like the seventh, eight, sixth scale figures, like you're looking at 175 to 300 for each one of those. So
Absolutely, it's
having
insane.
the having the access to those prize figures that you can usually pick those up for about 35-40 bucks at anime conventions, sometimes cheaper online as well. um, Allows people to have a pretty decent figure, because I mean the prize figures are actually pretty good a lot of the times. I was really impressed with the Ichiban Kuji Musashi figure.
Same
um
here. Same.
it's like I was explaining to somebody, I was like, I think I picked it up for like 50 bucks when I was in Japan. And like when I was unboxing it, I'm like, this is easily like the same, on par with like $125 figure that you would typically get from, some of these other companies. So it's
Yes,
always
Kotobukiya. That's the one I always shit on sometimes.
yeah, Kotobukiya is very hit or miss on some of their figures. Like you'll get one figure that's like reasonably priced and like amazing quality, and then like the
Hmm.
next one will be like overly priced, and then you're just kind of like, really? Like this is it? One of the figures I was kind of disappointed in was the Rider Marie figure. Like I'm pretty sure that one is around like 125, 150, and it was just very meh. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Like there wasn't anything that like really, like just reached out to me and said, "Hey, this is awesome," other than an enormous like open box. How do you feel about that? Like one of the big things for me is like if I can't physically see the figure, or at least like a good picture of the figure like on the box, like it just bugs me so much.
Same, same. It's like open box. That's well. First off, it's great when you see any QC issues because safe to say, companies will have some QC issues, either severe like paint chips or
Mhm.
there could be broken weapons. So an open box, or open window display or something, you get to check those out, or pictures. But closed box, I tend to avoid those the most, like things that try to cover the figure itself. It's a form of, I guess, marketing or whatever, but that's
Yeah.
just my own personal preference.
Yeah, like the other thing too is like there's some figures that I sell sometimes that like don't even have like a picture of the figure itself on on the box. And it's like, how do you sell this? Like unless you know specifically what it looks like, or like you said, open, like you literally open the box and bring the figure out, like you don't know. And you just, it's tough because I like to see what I'm getting. Like I like to hold the figure, I like to look in there, I like to go, oh cool, are all the pieces here? So yeah, for me, um hey, you've seen the Mysterious Hero and X Alter figure, right?
The mysterious hero. I don't think so. Which one is that? By which company?
Um, I think it was
Remember?
like Champion or something. It was like a weird company that like I never heard of before. And I actually made a joke because I was like, it would have been funny if it would have been made by Alter,
Hmm.
because it was MHXA, you know, Mysterious Hero and X Alter. Haha, because they would have been alters.
Yeah.
But
Well,
anyways, super good, very open box. Like just the whole way around was just really nice plastic. Like you could just see absolutely everything in there. And actually I think during my unboxing, I kind of like gushed over the fact that you just had, like, you could see everything. Like you knew what you were getting and you were like, yes, this is what I want. um One of the things with boxes too is I like that if they're not going to be very wide open and very visible, is that they put like embellishments, because like Tamamo Cat, had like the 4 stars. It had like the kind of feel of like the summoning circle type deal. That was also really cool to me. And I know that, it's weird getting so hype over a box, but that's kind of part of the experience too,
Yeah, it
because
is.
who doesn't keep like almost all of their boxes?
Oh, if you throw away your boxes, you're not a true collector. Well, first and foremost, the value will go down severely.
Yeah.
Of course, when you open it, the value decreases since it's not new. But if you throw away that box, it's oh man,
Yeah, you
that's
might
not a
as well
good
just
sign.
never try. You're never going to get rid of it. Like, you know, yeah, because trying to sell it without a box in the
It's tough,
future.
And
Not only
like
that,
you said,
if you move, like trying to transport it without the box and the plastic, like you're just asking for a busted figure.
yeah, that's expensive plastic right there. You want to protect that at all costs, And I was about to say, it's part of the experience. You have to collect a lot to really get that experience where you have an amazing figure, right? And then when you unbox it, just like it's art.
Yeah.
It may sound cheesy, but it's freaking art. Sometime, did you get the Mash by Stronger figure? I think it was 1/8.
Is
I
that
think
the Shielder one?
yeah, the Shielder
The
or
one that you just recently unboxed?
yes.
So I have the non-special edition, but yes, I do have that one.
Okay, yeah, and just so you don't have the limited edition one, right?
No. I
Okay,
have the normal edition one.
okay, the one with her third ascension, just so we're on the same page.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's the same one I got. And when you first, I love the whole entire like display of the box. It's an
Hmm.
open window. It's like beautifully designed, and just sometimes, do you get the same feeling where you purchase a figure and you just want to leave the freaking plastic in the box because it looks great in the box, but
Oh
then
yeah.
again, you didn't spend $200 on a piece of or a box. You spent on a figure.
Yeah, no, like 100%. Like I said, the Ryder Marie figure, I actually felt like it was better in the box than when I pulled it out of the box. So yeah, there's definitely times where I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna leave this in the box and put this on a shelf. But then I'm like, I'm gonna unbox it for the channel, and then I'm gonna find somewhere on my shelf to put it. I had to literally like just I've got so many more glass cases than I ever thought that I would like physically have, because I'm just like, I keep getting all of these figures and I just don't have anywhere for them. Like I don't physically have places to put them, and I never thought that I would have that problem because I bought like 4 of the glass cases from IKEA that literally every collector has. Uh,
Yes.
it's just like, oh yeah, no, I knew exactly where those people got those. So, and I've filled up like most of them. Like, I have one that's just dedicated to Tom Mo figures. That is my Tom Mo figure.
Your shrine, right?
Yeah, my shrine. And then like,
Sure.
I had other things beforehand, so I've got one that's like One Piece, and then I have one that's like Fallout, and then the other one is just all of my other Fate figures. And so I've got to buy more. I went on Craigslist and found like a bunch of old like jewelry cases from this store that was going out of business, so I want to like get those like up and revamped, like put all of my stuff in there. And the thing is it's a dangerous slippery slope once you start collecting, because then you're just like, I need more and bigger figures. I started getting the figures from like Sideshow Collections, first four
Oh, yeah,
figures.
Thanos. I remember you.
Yeah, the
Thanos. Ooh,
Thanos.
that's beautiful.
It is huge, and it's really awesome because like the fist glows, everything. And the nice thing with those though is, even if you take them out of the box, for the most part they retain their value because they are very limited runs. So it's
Mm.
like you only have 1,000 of them that are ever made. And half of them or more are going to go in collections and never be sold. So almost immediately after they come out, the price just jumps. Like there's a Galactus from a long time ago that I really, really wanted, but like every single year it goes up like another $200 in price because as people buy them, they go off of the market, which, you know, drives demand up. The thing
Yep.
with a lot of like Fate figures and stuff like that is there's so many of them made that it's going to be a really long time before any of those, you know, go up in price as a collector's edition. Now, it depends. If you go to an anime convention, those things go up in price literally the next day, which
Yeah.
yeah, I remember when that Jolter that we both have came out. I went to a convention like probably like the week after, and somebody already had that thing at like 350. And I was joking because I was like, you could literally go on to like Big Bad Toy Store right now and buy it for like 175. I'm like, are these guys crazy? I'm like, you got to at least like wait 6 months afterwards when all of the websites are out before you
Yeah.
try to gouge people that bad. Um, but yeah, anime conventions are, it's tough because having the internet makes buying things at anime conventions, unless you're looking for something like really rare or there's like a really good deal, it makes it tough because you're just kind of like, well, I can get this, you know, cheaper on the internet. So
Yeah. And don't you? I know you're a vendor,
I
so
am.
like, how do you go around that? Like, I know it's like being a physical retailer sometime during anime conventions.
You prey on impulse buys. So I mean, for the most part, I price most of my stuff at the same price that you would have online plus shipping. So people will come on and they'll be like, "Oh, well, I could get this, you know, on this site for this much," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, but you're also paying to ship it from Japan, so have fun with that like 40 extra dollars that it's going to cost to ship to your house, you know, or you could pay for this price and have it right now." So it is a fine balancing line, and you do get one of the things that I always run into is people will pull up like wish.com and they'll be like, I can get this Saber on her motorcycle figure for $35. Yours is 275. And I'm like, well, yeah, because mine's not bootleg.
Yeah,
You know, I'm like, if the price is too good to be true, it 100% is too good to be true. So
absolutely.
yeah,
Did you know that? Sorry to cut you
No, you're
off,
fine.
but speaking of bootleg, did you know the Jolter figure by Alter? That's coming out soon. That the one that's like $300.
Yeah.
There's already bootleg, and I think a few people got tricked already. I was like,
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like the Lancer Artoria is already out in bootlegs and that hasn't hit the market yet. That's why I try to tell people too. I'm like, well, first off, a lot of the figures are made in China, so they've already got the molds for them.
mhm.
They just, you know, they just knock them off and then sell them for dirt cheap. But it's like, if a figure hasn't even been released, do you think that you're really finding that $300 figure for $50? You know, it's kind of common sense stuff there. But you also have the people though that don't care. They're like, I got this figure for $50.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And that's okay. Sometimes, $300 for a figure is I don't know, that's kind of scary, a
yeah,
scary thought,
yeah,
and
it
some
is.
people are okay with bootlegs, and
Right.
that's all right.
You know, and no offense to those people. I mean, I like all of my figures just to be official, but
Same here.
you know, that's just me. I know for some collectors, and I know that the legality and everything like that of, you know, bootlegs and, you know, buying them fuels the rest of the bootleg market. But, you know, who am I to tell you what to do with your money? But the thing is like, yeah, I get people that are like, oh, well, I found this for, you know, dirt cheap, and I'm like, well, that's cool, man, you know, go order that. But one of the things that I enjoy doing is, so I go over to Japan every once in a while, and I would suggest it for you too if you haven't been over there,
Yeah,
is
I haven't. I'm planning to go
oh
maybe next year during the Olympics. I
oh
believe they're still
okay,
holding it.
yeah, nice.
That's awesome.
One of the cool things is like, go outside of the city and just hunt for really cool figures. So they have these places called book offs, and they're kind of like a Goodwill, but like more. They're kind of a thrift store, secondhand stuff like that. But they all have just entire sections of like figures and anime merch because it's so prevalent over there. And if you go to anything like in Akihabara, they know what they have. So you're not going to find any cool deals or like, hidden gems, stuff like that. You've got to go about like an hour outside of the city and you just find like some of the craziest stuff out there, and you'll just like find these figures that you're just like, holy crap, this is $5. Like
Really? Thanks
I
for that.
found a Cloud with his motorcycle from Final Fantasy 7, and I think it was like $35, and I'm just like, wait, hold up. And so I went online and I'm like, dude, there's no way that this thing is $35. And like everything that I could find was like, 225, stuff like that. So I'm just like, dude, there's no way that they're selling like a secondhand bootleg figure. So I just like literally went over the whole thing, and yeah, I ended up finding it for like $35 over there. Like it was behind some stuff, like it just looked like it hadn't been touched in forever. So yeah, you go over there and like I just go absolutely crazy with figures because I'm just like, holy crap. I'm like, this is like 75% off of what it would be in like an anime con. This is like, and over there they're very big sticklers on their boxes as well. And I mean, I don't know how, big you are on like keeping your boxes pristine, but like over there, if there's even like a dent on the corner, like it's just dirt cheap. I got the Astolfo, the really
I was about to
expensive
ask you
Astolfo
that.
figure. Yeah. And when I went to go buy it, the guy at the counter, obviously we couldn't really talk to each other because I only know how to like get around, and he didn't know any English, but he kept pointing at like the corner and like kind of trying to explain that that's why it's discounted so much. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'm literally going to go home and take this out of the box and display it. Like, I
And it was
don't.
hard to find too. The
Yeah,
Safo, like I tried
yeah.
looking online. That figure rose way too high.
Meme magic. Like, it came out originally at 125. I don't think you can find it anymore for like less than like 275, $300.
No, not at
So
all. Like I tried looking, and it's too expensive
yeah,
in the
so like the
aftermarket.
first time that I went over there, like that was kind of one of the things that I wanted to find. And like, at the time I think I had priced it out. It was like, 260, 275 online. And I found it for like $190 just because the top right corner like had just some small damage. Like it looked like you accidentally dropped it and it just indented the top corner like a little bit. And I'm like, hold up. So this is like $70 less because this tiny little defect in the box. Like it had never been
Take my
opened
money,
before.
right?
I'm just like, yeah, done here. And he's like kept pointing it out. I'm like, I literally, I get it, man. I get it. Here, take my money. So that's like another big thing over there. If like figures are out of box, like if they don't have a box, they're like $5. I found a lot of very like large, like 6th scale figures like for $5 because they just didn't have
Really?
a box like at all. So the other thing too is like if you're looking for things from like One Piece or Fate or not DBZ. DBZ always like all their figures are super expensive even over there, which I thought was crazy because I'm like it's everywhere. Like you would think that it would go down in price, but even over there, like almost all of the DBZ figures are like brutally priced. Like you've got just real small Majin Vegetas are like $45 there, which would equate to like 90 over here in like an
Gee.
anime con because they're never over here. So like if you
Hmm.
find things over there or find things online, you can always just assume that the markup's going to be double because the person has to bring it back over here, make a profit margin. That's why a lot of times in anime cons, you'll see prices that are like, wow, that's crazy expensive, but we never get it over here in the first place. So it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of rare, and that is like one of the biggest like fun things as a collector to do when you go to Japan is go out to the middle of nowhere and just scour their secondhand market for these like just like gems that you can find. So that's definitely, I would literally set aside like a day or two just to do that if you go over there.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I appreciate that.
And don't
Definitely
buy
save me a
anything
lot
in,
of money.
yeah, don't buy anything in Akihabara because they know what they have and they are out to get that gaijin money. So everything I saw in Akihabara, I was like, wow, that is way overpriced. But you know, you figure that is where all of the nerds that hit the shores go to first. So it's real easy to take advantage of people who don't know and haven't seen these things and go, yeah, these are over, these are, I just need this.
Impulse buying, right?
Impulse buying, yeah, because I think my best find was the One Piece 20th anniversary set. It was the whole crew, and they all came individually. Well, in Akihabara, you could buy the entire set for $1,000. I found it piece by piece at various thrift stores for half that price. The thing is though, is if it's the whole set, it goes up exponentially in price because you don't want to have to look for each individual thing. You just want all of it right now. So if you take the time and go around to like some of these places outside the city, you just do way better. Plus you get to see more of outside the city. So you can go out there, have like a nice lunch, find some hidden gem, figures and stuff like that, and then, go back to your Airbnb with your spoils.
Yeah, absolutely. Kill two birds with one stone. Go travel. See outside the city, and hopefully you can find like hidden gems, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, what what figures are you most excited for that are coming up in the near future?
Oh man, have you seen the Aussie from Mega House?
I was literally like, because you were gonna say some stuff, and then you were gonna be like, "What about you?" And I was gonna say Ozzy if you didn't say Ozzy. Yeah, that
Yeah,
that Ozzy figure is so gorgeous.
it is. But that price points, and oh man, it's just, I think it's probably gonna cost 200 without shipping. That's what my
Yeah,
estimate.
yeah, probably.
So
I could see it being a 200, 225.
yeah.
Um, one of the other ones that I'm really interested in is the Dante's figure that's coming out. Like, I didn't
Yes.
really expect Dante's to get his own figure ahead of like some of the other husbandos like Ozzy.
Gilgamesh, like what the hell, right?
Yeah, like the thing is like trying to find Gilgamesh stuff is not easy. You got like a fair amount of Archer, that's expected, but yeah, Dante's before like a good scale Gilgamesh. I mean, you've got the Extella swimsuit, the swimsuit
Gil.
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, but
But
not the same.
it really isn't. Like, I want, like, oh my god, I would love a quarter scale Gilgamesh. Like, I love quarter scale figures in the first place. Like, they're typically worth the money that you drop on them because they're going to be like the crown jewel of your collection, and like a quarter scale Gil would just be super good.
Yeah, I think they're planning to make one because there was a didn't you bought the 1/4 scale Artoria?
Yeah, I've pre-ordered the quarter scale saber, yeah.
Yeah, I think the same company. I forgot which it was, but they're planning to make Gilgamesh, I believe.
Oh, well, I mean, that will definitely be something that will be on my pre-order list as well. To be fair, as a vendor, I literally started my vending business just to get discounts on figures.
That's
And
smart. That's
yeah,
genius.
I was like, man, I can pay $125 to start a business and get a wholesale license. I mean, I'm gonna save more than that getting these figures wholesale. And then I was like, well, I guess I should just sell these to other people so that I can just buy myself even more figures. And so now it's always like one for me and then like two or three for the store.
That's
So
great. That's
yeah,
smart because now you're funding your own hobby. It's not like you're
exactly. Yeah.
losing. It's a hobby
Hobby.
that's funding your
Yeah.
own hobby.
Call it a hobby. Some call it an addiction, you know.
Yeah.
So, the thing is though, is buying figures is typically cheaper than the gacha. So
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You
yeah, I
know.
remember the first time that I tried to roll for Okita. I have no idea how much I put in on that, but I was just like, and then I literally went to a convention the next week and bought like the original Okita figure for like $160, and I'm like, man, that was so much easier than rolling gacha, you know?
Oh man, I know. Spend like what hundreds of dollars, not even guarantee you your waifu.
Yeah,
And now on figures, right? So you get a masterpiece in your hands,
yeah,
right? And it's guaranteed.
absolutely.
Fraction of the cost. But I
So,
will say, oh, sorry, cut you
oh
off.
no,
But I
go
would
ahead.
say, for those who are planning to get into collecting figures, it's the same thing with it's not gambling, but it's like it's addicting, same as the gacha. You start small. I think we talked about this earlier, where we kind of starts off small. For me, I start with prize figures, and then
Yep.
start with higher price action figures, maybe pushing $50, $80, and next thing you know, I'm purchasing $200 figures. What's next? So
Oh
it's
yeah. Well, next you're going to be going where I'm going, and you're going to be
yeah,
in
one
the
fourth scale. Oh man,
the Force scale, the sideshow collections. I'm actually I ordered from First Four Figures the Guts figure from Berserk,
oh
and
snaps, that looks great.
so good. I got like the limited edition like bloody variant, and oh my goodness, like I'm so hyped for that to come
I
in.
gotta unbox that on your channel. I
Oh,
definitely need to see
100%.
that.
Like the thing too with like Berserk figures is like if you're trying to find one, you're looking for a figure that like is just not sold anywhere. When I was in Japan, there were some for sale, and they were like in the upwards of like $500 to $1,000, like 500 to $1,000 just for like anything. So yeah, when they came out with that one, I was just like, oh yes, please, I will gladly throw down on that. But I try to keep my figure collecting to like just Fate now. Like
Same here.
there's sometimes I want to branch out into other things. Like I really find a lot of like the Hatsune Miku figures to be super adorable, but that feels like another rabbit hole that you will just never get out of. And like Miku figures are also other ones that it's like if you want the really nice ones, get ready to drop like 250 on this season's Racing Miku. Um so I
And
may
that's the thing. When collecting, you gotta control yourself. Have a specific, I guess, franchise or series, and stick with it.
yeah,
You can't collect them all. It's just way too much.
I mean, if you want to be the very best there ever was, you have to catch them all.
That's
Um,
true. That's true.
I mean, I may dabble my toes a little bit in the Azure Lane figures, but we'll see. Kotobukiya does a lot of them, and again, it's one of those like Kotobukiya hit or misses. When I was over there, I went to the Kotobukiya store, and I wasn't super impressed with the Azure Lane figures that they had, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to like read some reviews on those to see if I'm gonna hop into that because I like to support games that I play a lot when they come
Hmm.
out with figures. So thankfully, not too many gotcha games have a lot of figures.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be completely broke.
Right.
Supporting our gotcha addictions and figures. It's not cheap hobbies.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll have to make a whole lot more 10-minute wiki reading videos if they start coming out with more and more figures. But Kay, so I should have asked this a long time ago. How long have you been into Fate? Did you get into it with the anime, with the visual novels? What got you into Fate initially?
So what got me into Fate was I the Studio Dean. I think that's where most people start off, but I didn't watch it when it was first released. I believe it was released 2006 or something.
I think it pretty sure it was
I
like
don't remember. Something like that.
2004 was the original.
Okay. So early 2000s. I did not start watching Fate till like 2010. I think my sister just recommended it to me. I was like, I want to see some kind of fantasy slash, like some kind of action anime, and she recommended that to me. So I'll give it a shot. Oh man, Cheryl pissed me off. I was not impressed. What Save the Shell for me, or Save the Series was Saber. I was a fan of Saber, so okay. I like the premise. Still wasn't a huge fan of Fate. I never read the visual novel, even now. So
yeah, the thing is, like with the visual novel, is you've got a lot of time to put into that. Like you got to invest quite a bit of time to go through that, and if you're not a visual novel reader, and typically like that's a lot to sit down and do.
Yeah.
So I mean, even like the Telltale games, which were kind of the interactive visual novels, I was like, man, I would rather just like use my time to like play a game.
Yeah, same here. It was great at its time when it first came out, but then kind of grew, I don't want to say stale or old, but it wasn't as impressive when it first released.
Right.
Which reminds me, you see, he's a huge name anime YouTube content creator, Giguk. Yeah. I think I mispronounced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you saw his Fate series video where he basically says the same thing? Like, do you have countless of hours?
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, no, that one was yeah, that one was pretty good. I think somebody shared it in my Discord because I saw that one a while ago on like how to watch the Fate one. Unless he came out with something new, in which case I haven't seen that one.
I was talking about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that one was pretty good. And I try to tell people too. I'm just like, I mean, I guess if you want to be a completionist and not a dirty secondary like me, then yeah, go back and read, all of the stuff. I'm like, but I just don't have the time for it. And a lot of times, like, what I'll do is I will just, dig myself into the Type Moon wiki. Because I mean, there's not a ton, I feel personally, in the visual novel that I'm gonna get out of things. Now, I mean, I know what happens in like Heaven's Feel, but that's because I went through and like read the synopsis of everything and like the stories and like the overviews of everything. I haven't obviously played through the visual novel, but I know what happens in Heaven's Feel, so I do know what I'm getting myself into when I go to see the movies. But there's so much stuff.
Too much.
Yeah. And then like that doesn't even take into account like all of the stuff on the side. Like you've got Carnival Phantasm, you got Prisma Ilia, you've got CCC, you've got Extra, you've got Lord Amoy Case Files, you've got Labyrinth, Strange Fake, which I loved your video on Archer Hercules. So
thank you.
That was a really cool
one.
one.
Strange Fake needs to get. It's still new. I mean, I know the author took a break, but
yeah,
I feel like it could be one of the good series.
No, it definitely is. Like I actually read the light novels for it, and I really like the fact that they're doing a manga adaptation. It would be really cool to see that eventually animated, but we'll see. I mean, I think that. Because there was the whole scare not too long ago about Nasu quitting the game after the next Lost Belt. But I actually think that, like, with him taking a back seat and maybe being able to oversee other projects, we're gonna see them ramp up more anime. I mean, we got Babylonia, we got Camelot, which I was kind of disappointed that they didn't put the other singularities in there. Like they could have done Okeanos, they could have done all of those as like just kind of short OVAs, because now we're gonna have to deal with either they're gonna take like the first third of the story and go, okay, hey guys, flashback time, or they're gonna put in like weird flashbacks like in the middle. And the other thing too is they're releasing Babylonia before Camelot. How are people going to know that how badass Gramps is without?
Yeah, it takes away the experience a bit,
Yeah, because it leads up to it. They introduce characters that like help you during Babylonia. So Are they gonna flash back to Camelot that's not even out, that then is then gonna come out? It's gonna
They're
be.
not just rushing
Yeah,
through that Fate Extra last encore. I think
yeah,
that anime was horrible. I didn't even know. I didn't understand anything.
yeah. It was not super amazing. I mean, it had Nero in it, which was a good redeeming factor, but yeah, it left a lot to be desired, and there were a lot of confusing parts if you didn't know everything already, or you didn't just go like look stuff up online to go, hey,
Yeah.
why don't I understand this stuff? So I hope that they don't do that. One of the things that kind of worries me a little bit is that the studios have indicated they're like, we want this to be consumable by people who have
Yeah, they say
never
that, but you
played the game.
can't.
And
It's so
yeah,
difficult to understand everything without sacrificing, like you say, without sacrificing the current, season or whatever the series. Like they're gonna have to somehow, if they want people to understand it, they're gonna do flashbacks. And again, why didn't they release Camelot? I know it's a movie; they have a higher budget,
right.
but I would honestly say, hey, okay, I'll wait for Babylonia. Maybe next year, work on Camelot
Yeah,
and watch Babylonia just to better understand it. But now they're kind of jumping all over the place, and that's gonna affect so many viewers.
right. No, and it absolutely is. And I mean, they miss so much stuff in the middle that would be really good. Like, I would love to see a America Singularity
Oh yes,
animated.
yes.
Like, that one was so good. The story was good. It was hilarious. You had the Preza King, which would be so funny to animate. You also had like London, which had like a lot of like really good story, had action. You had Mordred, you had Jack, like all those things. And you could have even,
Orleans, dude. I want
yeah,
to see Orleans
Orleans.
anime.
Yeah. There's so much stuff that is packed into those that it's like, okay, cool, we're in Babylonia. Why do I care?
Yeah,
What's okay? I don't know who Solomon is. Like, okay,
that's gonna be so hard
yeah,
to explain to people. And
yeah,
I understand because a lot of people who are defending it. I mean, I don't know why, but they said no. Of course, the Babylonia and Camelot was voted to be animated or something during a poll or something. I don't know the whole story, but that's how it went. That's why
yeah.
they decided. But like you said, maybe make a OVA, like a 4-episode OVA for each singularity, or maybe it's rushed. Maybe it won't be the greatest thing ever,
Well, I
but at
mean, they
least
they had First Order. They literally had the
yeah,
story for Fuyuki, and that was fine. Like, that was great.
yeah,
Even Moonlight Lost Room was good, and they weren't long, but you got that part of the story, like, was there. Um, and like, why would you put out a poll of what do you want to see animated? Like, of course people are going to say, oh, well, give me the two best stories that you have out of the original. Like, yeah, I definitely want Septum animated, said
oh
nobody ever.
god,
But it's the part of the story, regardless of it being mediocre story or whatever. Like, it's the build up. Like, you get invested in these characters as the journey goes, and it all builds up to those better stories at the end of the day. And it just seems really weird that that's how they would go about it with this anime. But here's hoping for either Carnival Phantasm season 2 or Strange Fake one of these days.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. That'll be amazing. But I want to ask you. I know I talked about how I initially got started into Fate. Like, when did you start becoming more serious into like Fate lore, or like getting into the whole entire series?
So, I mean, I started when back in like 2004 with Dean, and I watched it a ton of times. I didn't really get like super into the lore or the visual novels. I didn't even know visual novels were a thing until much later. So for me, it was just watching it over and over again, seeing what I could find like here and there on the internets. And then later on, when Zero came out, a Zero Unlimited Blade Works, I got more and more of my friends into it. I would search around on the internet, like read verse battles, and then kind of look at some of those things. At one point I did play through I read through a lot of the Tsukihime stuff,
Okay.
and that was pretty brutal because again, it's one of those things that doesn't really age very well. So it was kind of a hard read to go through, but I did. And I was kind of like, visual novels not really my thing, because I was like, oh, let me just start at the beginning. Tsukihime is the beginning. And so I got through it, and I'm just kind of like, meh, visual novels. So here and there, like, I would find something and it'd be like, I don't know who that is in that fan art. Let me go like wiki that real quick. And then I've always had this like habit of like starting on wiki, and then like 4 hours later I'm like reading some wiki about some character that like doesn't have anything to do. It'd be like, who could win in a fight between Juggernaut and Hulk,
No,
and then
same. Wow,
you
you
know
remind the whole process. It reminds me of myself. Same thing. It's like how this. No, that's initially how I before I was really into Fate. I knew about Mordred. That's when Apocrypha was still new. I was like,
uh-huh.
oh, son of King Arthur. Wait, she's a chick. What? And I wikied it just to read their lore, like their Fate lore, their backgrounds, and then 4 hours later, I'm like, Gilgamesh versus Karna or something.
Right,
It's like, who
right.
will win? Like, oh shit, this is
Oh man, I
amazing.
love the Gilgamesh verse Karna discussions, because it's always like, oh well, does Gilgamesh take this person seriously? Because if they
Yeah,
don't, well, literally
he
anybody can
lost.
mess him up. But like, then it's like, oh well, does Karna have his plot armor that literally makes him invincible, and his spear that can just kill anything that's even remotely divine? Oh well, then of course he's gonna win. But at the same time, if Gilgamesh has this or this, and then it's just like these forums that have like 700 responses to that, and you're just like, oh my god, I need to read every last
Yeah,
one
bring
of
out the
these.
popcorn. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
long ride, and just start
yeah.
reading.
I mean, I've never gotten like super crazy deep into like the Nasuverse lore. Anytime there's an anime though, like I'm just like, yeah, I gotta watch this. I absolutely have to watch this. The Nasuverse lore is very, oh, like, intimidating. There's just so much stuff. And like,
Overwhelming. Even
yeah,
I'm not really too into the whole Nasuverse. Of course, like I'm more see anime, do a little bit research in there, but it's overwhelming.
yeah. Now, one of the things that I like doing is I like listening to people who do know everything about the lore tell me about the lore. Like, that's like super fun to me. Like, I'll meet somebody at like an anime convention, and they're like, let me tell you about Dead Apostles. And I'm like, yes, please tell me about Dead Apostles. I'm very interested in this. Other content creators like Tasaya, or
Oh yes, love his stuff.
the dude, and he's got such a good voice too. Like, you know,
Great humor.
yeah, that's one of the big things I think, like with content creators too, is like, if you've got a good voice, like, you can tell me whatever you want, man. There's a channel called Annie News that goes over Overlord.
Yeah, like powers of like
Yeah,
Apocrypha. Yeah, I love
yeah,
his content.
super good. I love those because I'm like, holy crap, you did all of the legwork for me and just told me how badass Shaltir was. I already knew how badass Shaltir was, but thank you for reaffirming how badass Shaltir is. So a lot of times, I'll watch like Tasaya Otaku Daikun, go over this lore because I'm interested. I'll be like, oh man, I wonder what this Dead Apostle does, or tell me about Zeltrek. And so I'll go, like, a lot of times for me, like, I dig into people that it's like, I didn't know this dude existed. I wonder what they do because they're cool. This guy's literally on the best craft essence in the game, Kaleidoscope. Let me see who this dude is and why is he so badass. And then you go read about him, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this makes Kaleidoscope even better. So
Absolutely. Really thankful for them. Actually, any news, my whole Fate Strange Fake Archer, True Archer breakdown, it was inspired by him because I saw how he broke down, servants' abilities. And, oh man, that
yeah.
seems interesting. Let me
Oh,
kind of
nice.
do something similar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's amazing how you get inspiration from so many other content creators.
Right, and that's one of the big things too is you know, watching you know, I've had people in the past that are like, oh well, this person stole this idea from like another content creator, and it's like, is it really like stealing? Like, you're inspired by it. I mean, I guess if you like rip off their entire format and everything like that, but still at the same time, like, it's good to watch other people and get an idea of things that like you've never even thought of doing before. Like, um I forget what, like, I saw something somewhere that had like the cool moving background, and it always like caught my eye. You know, I was like, wow, this looks really cool. That's why my servant reviews, like, I have just the moving background. Like, I thought that, you know, I was like, oh well, I'm gonna do this because I like doing the moving background. Or it's like, you know, I would find I think at one point you had a card like kind of materializing from like the top, and I'm like, oh snap, how did Kei do that? And so I went and like I looked on like the internet on like how to kind of do that, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, dude, I can do this now. Like, that's a cool ass effect. I'm gonna integrate that into things that I want to do in the future. So yeah, definitely pulling from like other content creators and getting inspiration is always a pretty good thing.
Yeah, and that's how you grow. That's how everyone grows. You know, even
Yeah.
today, even those big content creators, you know, they started from somewhere and then drew a lot of inspiration from others and grew their channel to what it is. So it's always
Yeah,
a
always.
community of growth.
Yep, always gotta be trying to improve yourself day by day. But so anyways, like, we've been talking for a while. I think we just like went off about figures for a long time, which was actually, you
Yeah.
know, what I wanted to you know, talk to you about, because I know that, you know, we both are big figure fans. But is there anything that you want to close out with? You know, where can people find you? All of that jazz.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for giving me a chance to, share a bit. FGO YouTuber, you find me on YouTube, and all my other social media is on my YouTube channel, like Twitter, Discord, and you can find me there. Simple as that.
Cool, and I will make sure that everything is linked down in the description. You can also find Kei on This Month in Chaldea every so often. So
Oh, that just reminds me of the weather. Oh, it was fun, but embarrassing.
yeah,
I
a
will
little
admit, but
bit.
it was great.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that, you know, I thought about it and I was like, I want each person that did a position, that's what they're gonna do in the future. So like, you know, when I need an on location person, I'm gonna have Fino in the woods with Nina. You know, you'll do weather. Musaki will do like breaking news. You know, Soberoni will be the mad money investing guy. So like, whenever I'm putting these things together, I'm like, oh man, who do I need to use this time around? Like, you know, what can I bring in? Because like, each one of you guys have like your own personality, and now you have a character that has that personality. Like, Fino's never coming out of those woods, man. He's always going to be there, and he's just going to always keep running into Nina. Like, that's just
Love
how
the
it's gonna
series.
go.
Month
Yeah,
in Caldea. Love
yeah.
it.
It's a lot of fun. Like, I kind of started that on a whim, and then it became like just one that I have like a ton of fun on, even though I'm wrong all the time because our clairvoyance EX is garbage these days. But I still have fun with it anyways. But we're gonna end it here before we go too much longer. I'm sure that me and Kay could talk about figures and, you know, stuff like that for the next 3 hours, but you know, I doubt anybody wants to listen to it for 3 hours. But anyways, guys, yep, all of Kay's stuff will be linked down in the description, and I will catch you next time. If you guys have any suggestions on content creators or just people in general that you guys would want to see on the podcast, let me know. Usually I just think of like a topic and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk to this person about this. But yeah, anyways, guys, take it easy, and thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time. Take it easy. Peace.
Thanks for having me, Shogun.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.